The climate crisis is happening. A clean energy transition is urgently needed to prevent it from intensifying. The scale of transition required and the benefits of clean energy provide humanity with an unprecedented opportunity to create a greener and fairer world. But Oxfam research, co-authored with staff and partners from 12 countries across the world, shows that many low-income and marginalized communities are suffering double jeopardy. They are more affected by the climate crisis due to their economic and social vulnerabilities, but they are also expected to bear more of the costs and less of the benefits for the energy transition. Critically too, such injustice is breeding resistance, which slows the transition and could bring us faster to a climate precipice. A fast transition is urgently needed. The recent historic and devastating flooding, hurricanes, heat waves, and droughts that are occurring have affected millions of people on virtually all continents. They are the indelible marks of a global climate gone awry and offer us an insight into a highly volatile future. Experts say we need to reduce our emissions by half by 2030, reach net zero by 2050 to keep global warming below 1.5 degrees, and go net negative from there to prevent an irreversible climate emergency. Yet humanity's use of fossil fuels, which accounts for 73% of global emissions, continues to drive the crisis, turbocharged by the dominant economic model's relentless pursuit of growth and profit. Global emissions are still rising rather than falling. The UN says the world is on track for a temperature rise for about 2.8 degrees Celsius by the end of the century, a catastrophic scenario. But the transition also needs to be just. Wealthy countries, which account for an estimated 92% of all excess historical emissions, are primarily responsible for curbing emissions, yet the transition also affects low and middle-income economies. Not only are some countries beginning to transition to clean energy, but investors and companies are increasing their renewable energy investments in their countries. And wealthy countries are relying on them for critical minerals to make low-carbon technologies such as batteries, wind turbines, and electric vehicles. Oxfam's recent research shows that the transition is beginning to generate co-benefits such as improved access to affordable and reliable electricity to light their homes, strengthened livelihoods, reduced time spent by women on care and domestic work. But it also found too many examples where energy and transition mineral projects are failing to meaningfully consult affected communities, pushing the costs onto communities through land grabs or lack of social protection for workers made redundant from the old fossil fuel industries, excluding communities from sharing the benefits of clean energy, failing to provide affected communities with compensation for resources or environmental harms. It is time to put justice at the heart of the energy revolution. Energy is vital for human well-being and development, but the old world of fossil fuels is not sustainable. We urgently need to create new clean and more efficient energy systems. Whether it also helps create a fairer world will depend on whether we all, governments, companies, and civil society, put justice and rights at the heart of the transition.